Okay, reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 3, text 18. Yamaraj instructs his messengers. Oops. Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Rakshanti Tad Bhakti Mata Parebhyo Rakshanti Tad Bhakti Mata Parebhyo Matas Cha Martyan Ata Sarvantas Cha Matas Cha Martyan Ata Sarvatas Cha Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Rakshanti Tad Bhakti Mata Parebhyo Matascha Marjan Ata Sarvatascha Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Rakshanti Tad Bhakti Mata Parebhyo Matascha Marjan Artha Sarvatascha Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Shanti Parebhyo Matascha Marjan Artha Sarvatascha Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Bhutani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Shanti Tad Bhakti Mata Parebhyo Matascha Marjan Ata Sarv Mataji's. Vani Vishnu Sura Pujitani Durdarsha Lingani Mahadbhutani Shanti tad bhakti mato parebhyo. Matasya marjan artha sarvatasya. Bhatani Vishnu Suraburjani Darshalingani Mahadbhutani Ebyo Natasya Marjanati Sarvatash Bhutani, living entities or servants. Vishnu, of Lord Vishnu. Surapujitani, who are worshipped by the demigods. Durdarshalikani, possessing forms not easily seen. Mahad Adbhutani, greatly wonderful. Rakshanti, they protect. Tat Bhakti Mata, the devotees of the Lord. Parebhya, from others who are inimical. Mata, from me, Yamaraj, and my order carriers. Cha, and Marjan, the human beings. Ata, thus, Sarvata, from everything. Cha, and. Translation. The order carriers of Lord Vishnu, who are worshipped even by the demigods, possess wonderful bodily features, exactly like those of Vishnu, and are very rarely seen. The Vishnu Dutas protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from envious persons, and even from my jurisdiction, as well as from natural disturbances. Please repeat. The order carriers of Lord Vishnu, who are worshipped even by the demigods, possess wonderful bodily features, exactly like those of Vishnu, and are very rarely seen. The Vishnu Dutas protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from envious persons, and even from my jurisdiction, as well as from natural disturbances. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Yamaraj has specifically described the qualities of the Vishnu Dutas to convince his own servants not to be envious of them. Yamaraj warned the Yamadutas that the Vishnu Dutas are worshipped with respectful obeisances by the demigods and are always very alert to protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies, from natural disturbances, and from all dangerous conditions in this material world. Sometimes the members of the Krishna conscious society are afraid of impending danger of world war and ask, what would happen to them if a war should occur? In all kinds of danger, they should be confident of their protection by the Vishnu Dutas, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Kontiya pranijani name prakpatya pranashyati. Material danger is not meant for devotees. This is also confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Padam padam yavi padam nate sham. In this material world, there are dangers at every step. But they are not meant for devotees who have fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. The pure devotees of Lord Vishnu may rest assured of the Lord's protection. And as long as they are in this material world, they should fully engage in devotional service by preaching the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna, namely the Hare Krishna movement of Krishna consciousness. Om Jnanatimidandasya Jnanjana Salakaya Chakshun Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, but my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pasachade Satarne. This is a very interesting situation here. So the background of this story, because Guru Maharaj kind of went to another place in the Bhagavatam with his classes, but the background is that the Yamadutas, whose purpose is to apprehend and to delegate punishment for those who deserve punishment, and to also assist Yamaraj in rewarding those who need to be rewarded in this material world. That's their business. They are simply capturing people at the time of death, taking them to the court of Yamaraj, and then Yamaraj is deciding what is the future of each individual. As Bhakti True Swami Maharaj was saying yesterday and the day before, he actually mentioned that we're forming our bodies for the next life. I should say, everyone in the material world is forming their bodies according to their actions, their words, their deeds. They are developing a subtle body. The gross body, when you can look around the room, you can look around the world, and you can see so many different forms of bodies, some very powerful, some very weak, some very beautiful, some not so much. Some powerful, some insignificant. We see the Indragopa, tiny one-cell amoeba, and then you see Lord Brahma, where the universe is being created. So all these bodies have been developed. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ke, Shri Shri Krishna Balarama Ke, Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Nataraj Ke, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ke, Shri Nishingadev Prahlad Maharaj Ke, Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. So everyone is living in this world, and they're engaged in activities. And based on their activities, they get a body. And along with that body comes all fortune and misfortune. So the duties of Yamaraj and the duties of the Yamadutas is to make sure that there is full justice within the universe. Full justice. Sometimes we think, oh, this person is cheating this man, he's stealing his property, he's stealing his money, he's beating him, he's killing. Where's the justice? Right? Sometimes people cry, something horrific happens. My daughter is murdered by a group of savage men, right? Abused, assaulted, murdered, and then she's left, as a pile of rubbish. And people, even with faith in God, will say, why? Why is this happening, God? But Krishna says, Najayate mriyate va kadacham nayam bhuta bhavita vana bhuya ajo nishja shasvatam purano nahanyate hanyamane sarire. The soul is ajo nitya shasvatam purano. It's unborn, it's eternal, it's primeval. It is not nahanyate hanyamane sari. It's not slain when the body is slain. So then what happens, right? So the Yamadutas are carrying out the orders. They also are very intelligent. They're ghastly looking, terrifying to look at. You can well imagine you're about to leave your body, and then someone comes up to you that looks like this. Yeah, that's your welcoming committee, right? I would rather see these, personality, right? But most people are seeing these. Most people are, especially in Kali Yuga, they're not seeing Vishnu Dutas. This is scientific. We're not sentimental about this situation. So then one can say, why would this girl be, brutalized in this fashion? It is just like we've all seen in our lives, unfortunately, movies, right? At one time. Fortunately, this next generation might not have to be accosted by that. But if you come in the middle of a movie and you see someone getting hit with a club, you think, oh, that's terrible. Why is this man being hit by the club? Well, you didn't see the first part of the movie. What did he do, right? Now, another point is that in the Manu Samhita, it is said that if a seemingly innocent person is abused or violated, right, that innocent person, whatever bad karma they have in their body, gets transferred to the abuser. So not only is that abuser going to suffer the consequences for that horrific act, now they also have to suffer the reaction to the person that they violated, the victim. And then that person, although that is generally not a process of devotional service, although it can be, even Haridas Thakur was beaten maliciously, right? So, but that was Bhakti Yoga. He was engaged in the loving service of the Lord. Generally speaking, unless it's a devotee, those kinds of situations is just karma no hiapi bodhavyam cha vikarmana. Those are the intricacies of karma, action and reaction. So that person gets freed from a lot of karma. They will go to maybe a heavenly planet, maybe to a much better situation. So that's when one can say, oh, often they'll say, well, they're in a better place now. But not necessarily, right? So it's very serious. This human form of life is very, very serious. Why we are here. Why did we come here? What are we to do here? And what are we supposed to, what is the objective of the human form of life? Atato Brahma Jigyasa. That's what human form of life is all about, is to find out how we stop this perpetual cycle of birth and death. And by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has given this simple and blissful process. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam, kalau nasteva, 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 gatiranyata. That's a fact. Chant the holy name, chant the holy name, chant the holy name. In this age of Kali, nasteva, nasteva, 3 times. No other way for some, not by karma, not by jnana, not by yoga. Nasteva. So any other process is simply a mental concoction, a fabrication of the mind that will get you nowhere. Maybe give you a little pious activity, maybe not. Everything is such a gamble. This material world is a very, very dangerous. Padam padam, yapi padam te sham. So it is a very dangerous place. I mean, we can see, like Prabhupada mentions in the purport, how sometimes the devotees, and we would talk to Srila Prabhupada, because at one time Prabhupada said that there will be World War III, right? And World War IV and World War V, because it is inevitable. Simply by the activities of an impious society creates the necessity for war. Like they say, why war, right? You know, make love, not war, all this other kind of slogans. But you cannot perform sinful activity and think that war will not come. These things come because it's compiled. It's a collective pile of sin. And we know that the pillars of sinful activities, or the pillars of religiosity, is no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling, and no meeting. Conversely, if you break those regulative principles, there is serious consequences. There is a reaction. It's not just out of sight, out of mind. It is all collected. All that information is collected. And one way or another, that's going to fall back on human society. In this world, for example, in this world, we see all these different species of life. You see cows, and you see gorillas, and you see cats, and you see dogs, you see monkeys and donkeys and whatever, and you see human beings. And the natural process just in this world is that the female, the motherly figure of whatever species is, will give birth and protect her offspring, even giving up their own life for their offspring. But in human society, we have become, as Prabhupada says, less than animals, this human society. Presently, in this world, every year, 50 million babies are aborted across the planet Earth. Every year. In 10 years, that's 500 million. You can do the math. Another 10 years, another 500 million, a billion. So these souls are being slaughtered. That's a collective karma that's immense. It's inconceivable. So also, I like to see documentaries on different things and politics and war and economics. And there was one figure about war. Like, the World War II was the war to end all wars. In World War I, 19 million people were killed. In World War II, between 50 and 75 million, right? Well, since they said, well, no, this is a war to end all wars. But there have been wars going on constantly in one country or another. In Africa, South America, Iraq, Syria, Libya, etc., etc. Wars, Ukraine. Since World War II, 100 million people have been killed in wars. In the Iraqi war alone, Americans, they lost 8,000 men. But they had 30,000 men maimed. That means lost their legs, lost their arm, lost their eyes, right? Their face. They're maimed in some way, right? They killed 500,000 people just in the Iraqi war. The Iraqi war of freedom, that's what they call it. We're liberating. That's what they say in America. But that isn't the process of liberation. The real process, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama. Chant the whole. That will liberate the soul. What do they do? They're simply engaged in the process of bondage. Krishna says these regulative principles of freedom, if just try to understand that principle, regulative principles of freedom. No one wants to be bound. No one wants to be imprisoned. We're imprisoned on so many different levels. We're imprisoned by our anger, lust, and greed. We're imprisoned by the material body. Prabhupada writes in one purport, he says, one wants, or actually I think it's Krishna, where Krishna says, one will seek the light, wants to become unbounded with freedom. When he attains this, he feels like there's no greater gain. Everyone wants to attain that position. Everyone. But they are simply engaged in the grinding wheel of samsara. Everything is calculated. Everyone will be accounted for. You do not escape this. Just because you're in the night, the demigods also see in the night. Everything is accounted for. Just like in America, they have, and you probably know this more than me, all you high-tech guys, because I'm a low-tech person. But in America, I do know this. They have these clouds, right, where information is sent up to the cloud, right? So every single text message, every single email that has ever been written, at least in the United States, probably the world, but for sure the United States, every single email, every single text message has been captured by what we call the, what is that, the dark society or the deep state. It's called the deep state. There's another government in America. It's not an elected government. It's the intelligence, CIA, FBI, NSA, all these people are not elected, and they're very, very powerful. They even tap the President of the United States line. So all of that information is captured there, which is astounding because there's 300 million people there, right? And it's every day. And it's year after year, and they just, how do they do it? It's like mystic power, right? So what to say the demigods? Just that technology, if you were to tell someone back in 1850 that they would be able to record everything you wrote, or you know what to say even that you could write on the internet. I mean, every brahmachari's got a little, telephone, and they're connecting this and that and this and that. All of that is kind of like we take it for granted, but it's a type of mystic city, right? So as they so-called progress, because that's relative term, as they go further and further, they will get to the point of the eightfold mystic cities where you'll be able, that's what the yogis do. You can actually reach something from a far place. They'll actually be able to reduce, and maybe, I'm not saying the scientists will, but all of those things are possible. And not only possible, it's factual. It's all there recorded. So Prabhupada says, when you take shelter of Krishna, one doesn't have to, actually Krishna himself says that too, right? He says, listen, moksha shishami masucha. You know, all of this stuff is entangling. You need to be liberated. But if you surrender to me, I promise I will deliver you from all sinful reaction, all that karma. We cannot possibly imagine what the volumes of karma we have. Not that you burn all your karma in one life. You carry karma. Sometimes it'll take lifetimes to burn your karma. But Krishna says, I will burn it all. And he says, Masucha. Don't worry. And sometimes Prabhupada said, don't be afraid. Don't worry, don't be afraid. But you must surrender. And anything here's the thing about Krishna consciousness, is it's not something you can fake. You actually have to do it, right? Just like, when I grew up, I grew up in a Catholic family. And then once a week for like 1 hour, we would go and pray. And then the rest of the week, you'd perform all sinful activities. Prabhupada says, and then you go to confession. You say, I did all these sins, and then, okay, your sins are forgiven, and then go out and sin again as soon as you leave the church. I knew some men, they couldn't even wait to get out of the church. They would be drinking alcohol while they're in the church. Okay, so it isn't like that. If everything is recorded, everything is acknowledged too. So the benefits that you do, even if it's not perceived by anyone else, it is perceived by Krishna. Because Krishna is there. Hridaya Arjuna Tistati. Ishwara Sarvabhutanam. Hridaya Arjuna. He's in your heart. Krishna is there as a witness. So we can be very happy to know this one lifetime. We just do this one lifetime. Surrender. Acknowledge to Krishna, I'm sorry, Krishna. I'm sorry that I chose to reject you. I chose to serve the material energy. There's only 2 types of activities going on in the world. That's all. Like sometimes people try to project, there's a communist party, and there's a capitalist party, and then there's some people that are halfway, they're kind of socialist. No. They're all avajananti mam mudha. They're all mudha. All asses. Right? They do not know Krishna's transcendental name. Fools, they deride Krishna. Krishna's not God. Like sometimes I have a friend, Pragosh, I mentioned to him before, he does a lot of book distribution. Whenever he sees an Indian person, he just goes up to him and goes, Hare Krishna. And he'll be in the store. I started doing this too. Hare Krishna. And then the person says, oh no, I'm Muslim. I'm Muslim. No, not Krishna. Not Krishna. And he goes, what? Hare Krishna. And he goes, no, Krishna. Krishna's bad. And then he'll go, Krishna's bad? And he'll say, Krishna's bad. And he's chanted Krishna's name so many times, right? So, all of that is accounted for. But the reason we are here in this place is that we, in our insanity, Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ke, Lalita Vishaka Devi Ke, Krishna Balarama Ke, Nitai Gaur Nataraja Ke, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani Ke, Ugra Nashinga Deva Ke, Prahlad Maharaj Ke, Srila Prabhupada Ke. So, Prabhupada was asked in Australia by one of the devotees. Actually, no, he was giving a lecture. He was giving a lecture at some kind of town hall. And they said, why, if we are originally from Krishna, why did we come here? And Prabhupada said, because we requested Krishna. And Krishna said, no, don't go there. It's not a nice place to go. But we insisted. We insisted. We come here. And so Prabhupada said, just like a father, he speaks to a son, and he says, son, don't do this sort of thing, right? But he says, no, I must do this thing. And he says, all right, you go. He doesn't want him to do it, but he insists. So Krishna did not want us to come here, but we insist. But this movement is a whole process by which, in this very lifetime, if we surrender to this process, Prabhupada said you follow 4 regulative principles, you chant 16 rounds, you do this morning program, evening program, this process is so purifying, there is no force in the material world that can keep you here. Nothing can keep you here if you follow this process. So we are so infinitely fortunate that we have met Srila Prabhupada. And even more fortunate that Srila Prabhupada's dear son and disciple, Bhakti True Swami Maharaj, strictly is following this process. Just like who thought, or I want to phrase this properly, but who felt in their heart that this festival was totally ecstatic? Raise your hand. Who was at this festival? The one we just had, Bhakti True Swami Prabhupada Festival. Who thought that was totally ecstatic, the festival? Okay. Oh, so who thought it was not ecstatic? Raise your hand. Oh, you thought it was not ecstatic? That's why you're in the material world, Prabhu. No, the point is to actually enter into the mood of devotion, just like at Guru Maharaj's Vyas Puja. I was looking out at the sea of devotees. There's 1,500 devotees, all ecstatically chanting and dancing and surrendering and feeling so blissful. And I was thinking, this is what it's like. It's like Guru Maharaj is just opening this window a little bit so you can peek through it and see what the spiritual world, see what his world is. This is his world. That's why that festival was formed. That's his world. So those who surrender to the process are feeling great pleasure by entering into the world of the pure devotee. That's what Goloka Vrindavan is. Now, if your mind is not purified, if you're feeling any anger, lust, greed, or envy, right? Krishna says, I envy no one, and I am not partial to anyone. But one who renders devotional services unto me is very dear to me. He is in me, he is dear to me, and I'm also dear to him. So, everyone in Goloka Vrindavan, they're always having these festivals. Every day is a festival. Prabhupada says every step is a dance, every word is a song. They're filled with sarabi cows, chintamani stones, kalpavriksha trees. It's ecstatic. They don't have one rickshaw. There's no rickshaws in Goloka Vrindavan beeping their horns or lorries, right? No air pollution. Everything is ecstatic. But in order to be there, you have to be non-envious. If you are envious of Krishna, this is where you come. That's very, very important, that we give up our envy of Krishna. And that envy is manifested in our envy of each other. We should not be envious of anyone, especially devotees. If someone is doing very nicely in their devotional service and making advancement, we should be so appreciative. Oh, they're so fortunate. They're that much closer to Krishna. So close. Let me serve that devotee, and maybe I can get the mercy of that devotee and the mercy of the Lord in the heart. When you serve the devotees, Krishna is most pleased. One who says he is my devotee is not my devotee. One who says he is the devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. We've heard these things. You have to hear it over and over again. But then it has to dawn on you, I have to become this. Because when you get to Goloka Vrindavan, there is no longer anger, lust, and greed. There's no longer, sinful activity. Those things are absent there because those things are dark. Those things are actually sources of suffering. And everything in Goloka Vrindavan is Satchitananda Vigraha. There is no darkness. Everything is eternal. Everything is completely illuminating. Everything is ecstatic. It isn't static. It doesn't rot like this material world. It is the antithesis of this world. Whatever we see here, if we see hate, if we see violence, if we see corruption, this is darkness. This is the opposite. None of those things exist in Goloka Vrindavan. One time we said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada will make you king of the world. You have the answer to everything. And Prabhupada said, yes, king of hell. This is hell. Forgetting Krishna, even if you go to Siddhaloka, if you forget Krishna, that is hell. And even in Patalaloka, in the most hellish region, if you can remember Krishna, that is Goloka Vrindavan. So, one of the things I wanted to mention before I end the class is that, like Prabhupada said here, in all kinds of danger, devotees should become confident that they will be protected by the Vishnu Dutas, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Kuntiya pranijani name bhakta pranashiti. Declare it boldly, Arjuna, my devotee is never vanquished, right? So, how do we get that? The pure devotees of Lord Vishnu must rest assured of the Lord's protection. As long as they are in the material world, they should fully engage in devotional service by preaching the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, and Prabhupada more specifically says, this Hare Krishna movement, Krishna consciousness. So, we are very fortunate that we have come, and Prabhupada has given very specific instructions how to live in a temple, how to practice Krishna consciousness, how to get freed from the cycle of birth and death. Now, there is a tendency I have seen, not here in this temple. You cannot even imagine your fortune. When I came here, I felt like I went in a time tunnel, and I ended back up in 1976, and I was in the Mayapur festival in Sri Mayapur Dham with Srila Prabhupada. That is the same feeling I got with this festival. I felt like I was back with Srila Prabhupada in that festival, and that festival was very, very ecstatic. So one of the things Prabhupada said, to carry on, and I just pulled a few quotes up, and I want everyone to really hear this, because see, when I've been, and this is unfortunate, I've been to other, and I'm not going to mention where, other places where Krishna consciousness and the temples, they've created a different program. You could say they've watered down Prabhupada's program. Like Prabhupada's program is too difficult. But just like a medicine, just like you're a medical practitioner, and you're given a certain type of medicine, right, from this medical practitioner, and then you start watering it down, you cut it with something else, right? You take out the potency of the medicine. The more you water it down, the more you take the medicine out, the weaker it becomes, till it becomes nothing but like a sugar pill, right? So Prabhupada just gave the straight medicine. And again, he encouraged, you must follow this process. Don't change anything. No addition and no alteration. So Prabhupada said, he was in Vrindavan in 1974, and he actually said, this is a very, very easy process. Easiest process. What is that easiest process? That easiest process, you don't talk nonsense. You simply talk what Krishna has said. That's all. And many times, they give me very great credit. What I have done, wonderful. Yes, I have done wonderful. But what is the reason? Because I am not a rascal. Prabhupada. I speak only what Krishna has spoken. That's all. Very easy. Everyone can do that. Not only I, any of you can do this. Simply speak what Krishna has said. That's all. Don't make addition, alteration. If you do, then you become rascal. Immediately, you become rascal. Srila Prabhupada. And then Prabhupada said in July 12th in Philadelphia, he says, yes, this is the order. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitte Te Koriya Aikya. Now, chitta means consciousness or heart. Quote, I shall do this only, boss. My Guru Maharaj told me I shall do this. Chitte Te Koriya Aikya Arana Koriya Mani Asha. So, it is not my pride, but I can say for your instruction, I did it. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Therefore, whatever little success you see, then all of my God brothers is due to this. I have no capacity, but I took it, the words of my Guru, as life and soul. So this is fact. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya. Chitte Te Koriya Aikya. Everyone should do that. But, are you actually following this? Wow. How do you do that? He's a genius. Hare Krishna. So I wasn't making this up. It's confirmed. He's a Brahmin. I'm Sutra. Okay, everyone should do this. But if he makes addition, alteration, then he is finished. You see? If he makes addition, alteration, he's finished. No addition, alteration. You have to approach Guru. Guru means the faithful servant of God, Krishna, and take his word out to serve him. Then you are successful. If you concoct, I am very intelligent than my guru, and I can make addition or alteration, then you are finished. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Okay, now this is August 22nd, 1973. All right, it's a general lecture. So then Prabhupada says, it is Vedic injunction. Someone was asking whether guru is absolutely necessary. Yes, absolutely necessary. That is the Vedic injunction. The Vedas say tad vigyartam, tad vijnanam. This is actually Prabhupada's favorite verse, actually. Means spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge for acquiring spiritual knowledge. Tag vigyartam sa, one gurum eva. Eva means must, gurum, to a guru. Must go to guru. Not a guru, the guru. Guru is one, because as it explained by our Rivetanandana Maharaj, guru is coming from the disciplic succession. What 5,000 years ago Vyasadeva instructed, or Krishna instructed, the same thing we are also instructing. Therefore, there is no difference between instruction. Therefore, guru is one. Although hundreds and thousands of acharyas have come and gone, the message is one. Therefore, guru cannot be two. Real guru will not talk differently. Some guru says that, oh, in my opinion, you should like this. And some guru will say, oh, in my opinion, you'll do like this. They are not guru. They are all rascals. Srila Prabhupada Ki. Guru has no own opinion. Guru has got only one opinion. The same opinion which was expressed by Krishna, Vyasadeva, or Narada, or Arjuna, or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or the Goswamis. You'll find the same thing 5,000 years ago. Lord Sri Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, and Vyasadeva wrote it, recorded it. Vyasadeva does not say, oh, it is my opinion. Vyasadeva writes, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Whatever writing, it is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has not given his own opinion. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Therefore, he is Guru. He is not misinterpreting the words of Guru. He has given it as it is. Just like a bearer, peon. Somebody has written you a letter, the peon has got the letter. It does not mean he has to correct it, or edit it, or addition, or no. He'll present it. That is his duty. Then he is Guru. He's honest. Similarly, Guru cannot be two. Mind that. The person may be different, but the message is the same. Therefore, Guru is one. Srila Prabhupada, yay! And then finally, this is from an evening darshan, May 11th, 1977, in Rishikesh. So, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upades. Chaitanya Madhya 7:128. You haven't got to manufacture anything. What Krishna has already said, you repeat. Finish. Don't make addition, alteration. Then you become Guru. You become Guru. Very simple thing. If I say that my father said, this is a bell, I am correct because I've learned it from my father, the authority. I may be fool, rascal, it doesn't matter, but because I've learned it from the authority in presenting, this is a bell, This is perfect. Similarly, I cannot become guru because I am imperfect. My senses are imperfect. I cannot see even what is beyond this wall. Although I am very much proud of my eyes, I want to see. But what can I see? Imperfect, all the senses. But if some authority says that beyond this wall there is this, it is like this, it is all right. So we have to follow this path, that you become guru. Deliver your neighborhood men, associates, but speak the authoritative words of Krishna. Then it will act. So this Krishna consciousness movement is like that. We do not manufacture ideas. This has spoiled the whole world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, the beautiful thing of this verse is that Yamaraj is acknowledging that he isn't the ultimate authority. He is not telling his followers, even though at that time the Yamadutas had never ran into the Vishnu Dutas. They were not, because even the demigods worshiped the Vishnu Dutas, but they thought Yamaraj was the supreme authority. They were actually being enlightened by Yamaraj by the mercy of the Vishnu Dutas. They had never been challenged like that before. And now, Yamaraj is very happily saying that these personalities are the pure servants, the pure devotees of the Lord. And their purpose is to protect the devotees of the Lord. And either by the Vishnu Dutas or by the Panchatattva, by Krishna Balaram, by Srila Prabhupada, by Guru Maharaj, we're all protected from this material world if we simply carry on. Don't change it. No addition, no alteration. And the result is, this will be your last life. You'll go back home, back to Godhead. Thank you very much. So, any questions or comments? Maharaj? Dashoshmi? All right. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Radha Madan Mohan ki, Lalita Vishaka Devi ki, Krishna Balaram ki, Nitai Gaur Nataraj ki, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki, Prahlad Nrsimha Deva ki, Gaur Premanande, Srila Prabhupada ki.